All right.
Okay, well, I took a little break there and we talked a little bit with the AAG, and I got a good feel that they're going to be very, very supportive of our team. Like was mentioned with our conversation with AAG, and he was very forthcoming about that, is that you may need more than one partner. So we have AAG, we have Liberty, and we're probably going to be bringing on one more called Open Mortgage. I got to talk with the bosses about that. But that way we can have different abilities to hit almost any scenario. So for example, if one senior needs a lot of credit back, we can do that with one lender better than another lender. So there's nuances between programs and lenders that allow us to do more with one versus another. So that's important to be flexible, because not every scenario is the same. They're always different. So that's enough about the introductions. Why reverse mortgages? It was alluded to earlier. And let me see if I can find the right form. Hold on un momento. I know we got it. Okay, I'm going to go from off script. Why reverse mortgages? Well, we're at a point where every day around 10,000 baby boomers turn 65. And out of that figure, and Steve can correct me, but I think it's somewhere about, most of them only have $25,000 saved at time of retirement.
They don't have that much.
Yeah, pretty low, pretty low. I heard 25,000 when I was doing some reading. So if they have a retirement plan, they have 25,000. If they have retirement, most of them don't. So there's a real need out there, and because most seniors, for whatever set of circumstances, are not prepared, they're going to be looking toward having another avenue to help them have a much more stable retirement. But on that same token, I believe that there's about $1 trillion worth of equity out there in home ownership equity for these seniors. So they've invested in homes, many times paid them off, but where else are they going to get the income besides Social Security? Reverse mortgages, along with some other social services. Why in one spot lending? Well, from a greed point of view, we pay the highest commission split depending upon where you are on the level. If you're a trainee, we start you out at 30% of the gross take for the company, and I'll explain that further here in just a moment. But as you advance, if you close 3 transactions or get you fully trained, you close 3 transactions, you have the ability to advance up to 50%. Now, what that means is that most lenders, including AAG and their people in the field, they'll pay 125 basis points. What does that mean? If there were a $100,000 loan, that would be a $1,250 commission to that salesperson. With us, because we also include a lot of the correspondent fee back to our salespeople, it can equate to up to about 350 basis points. So you can see it's quite a difference between 125 and 350. And why do we do that? Because we're crazy. No. We do that because we want to pay our people well. We want to keep them excited about making money. We want to make sure that they remain as part of the crusade to help the senior community and where our branches are. We also why in one spot lending? We supply training, on-the-job training. Just in this room alone, there's a lot of years of experience. And for me, I've been doing reverse mortgages, I'll have to think, but I think it's since about 2003 I've been doing reverse mortgages. I started out as a broker, doing it through Financial Freedom, which is a company that doesn't exist anymore. I brokered those and I kind of learned from that. So we have a wealth of knowledge in mortgage lending, and we're there to support you while you're out in the field. That's critical, local support.
Thank you very much.
Lastly, we have a real vision. When I got together with this crazy idea in building a reverse mortgage division with Steve and Paul, I mentioned that we're going to do something different. and it has been my desire for a lot of years to offer seniors an ability to make a good wage. Now, personal testimony here, from my perspective. When the market crash hit, and it hit those of us that have been in the business a long time, hit us pretty hard. And so I got out of the business for a little while there, and one of the things I did is I went on interviews to the state of Nevada. And so I'm sitting in this interview, getting ready for this with a division chief, and she had been there getting close to retirement. And she's sitting here, I'm sitting across from her desk, and we went through all the questions and giving me a 5-year plan and all these typical things. And man, I tell you what, I've been in sales a while, so I was firing on all 4 cylinders, and I was answering them all right. And I thought I was just doing a phenomenal job in the interview. And then she leaned over and she looked at me and she said, "How long do you plan on working?" And then, you know what? That was code for, I'd rather hire someone in their 30s. And was that legal? No. But if you want a job, what are you going to say? So there is a real problem, income-wise, for seniors out there in America trying to find a viable employment option. It's just true. There's age discrimination. There's problems that if you look a certain way, you have the right Goldilocks, and if you're a certain age and you have the right degree from the right college, you'll go far. But if you don't, and you're a certain age, and you have less than Goldilocks, and then someone's going to ask you, "How long do you plan on working?" I don't know if I should consider you to even be a serious candidate because of your age. So what we want to do, in addition to help seniors directly and providing reverse mortgages, we want to give them the opportunity to earn a good wage and learn a new career. And that, to me, is the most exciting part of this venture with the reverse mortgage division that I have. I have a real crusade, a desire in my heart to help folks out. And you're going to be part of that. You're at a real exciting, amazing opportunity to grow with a really nice thing for people, for the senior community, and I think for Americans. So that being said, if you wouldn't mind looking at your book, let's just go ahead and open that up. And we'll kind of skip around here and there. I haven't even had time to even put mine in the binder yet. But let's start with the agenda. If you just take a look at this page here, very first one. We did the introductions. We talked about who we are, why reverse mortgages, and why M1 spot lending. Training and mentoring, OJT training sale. Okay, let's talk about that just a bit. If you remember, if you've read the agreement, we have an agreement where you really are not an employee of us yet. Why? You're not licensed to conduct business, so you need to get licensed. But while you're getting licensed, we're going to give you the opportunity to start your marketing plan so that you can get 2 things. So you can get an idea of what you need to do, so as soon as you are licensed, you can, if you choose to, you can hit the ground running. Okay, so that's what we're going to be covering, how you get your marketing plan in a position where you can hit the ground running. That's what we're going to cover today. Also part of it, there is a training sale. And let's talk about that. If you don't have the wherewithal or the time to pay for the licensing fees, the continuing education, or the education, pre-licensing education, to get your originator license, we'll cover that. But as skin in the game, if you will, if you don't have the money, you got to find the time to get licensed and time to go through the online classes. But we'll cover that and reimburse you if you pay for it in advance, or we'll just pay for it if you don't have the money to pay for it in advance. But you have to do a training sale. That means you need to find someone, because there's 2 big parts to being a reverse mortgage consultant. You need to be an expert in the product, an expert on running scenarios for for that client, but you need to be an expert finder. You need to find business. As I mentioned earlier, you can be a PhD level loan originator, know all there is about reverse mortgages, but if you can't find a deal, you're not going to make it. So we're going to focus in on that. You need to find a deal. Once you find that deal, that training sale, we're going to use that as on-the-job training. We're going to run you through the entire process so you'll know what's going on. We'll be there taking the application. You'll be there with us. If you can't make it then, you'll be on the phone with us. As we go through the process, you're going to be an integral part of knowing how that process works. And then we would prefer, if you can, we'll structure the closing where they sign all the loan papers. Well, you'll be there, even if it's on a weekend. So you get the full training of what it means to do a reverse mortgage. Okay, now that's a training sale, and that is our reward for training you. And then, but out of that reward, we're going to go ahead and pay for your education. Does that make sense? Is that on a fair trade? Mm-hmm. Okay. So your job as a trainee starting a business, and this is something I shared with Paul many years ago. He may not remember this, but this is what I've always told people. Your job is to get into trouble. Meaning, I get this call from Jeanette, for example, and the call is, hey, I'm talking with someone at the grocery store, and they have this situation, and I don't know if we can do it. Well, can you help me answer this question, or is this possible? And the more times, and I know someone's going to be successful if I get those what-if scenarios. So you need to get yourself in a position and get used to being in the position of being completely compromised, meaning I don't have an idea, I don't have an answer for you, I don't know, but I know someone that does as part of our team. I'll get back to you at this time. When's a good time to call you? What's a good number to get back to you on? So you've got to be really reflexive with that. Don't be bashful and talking to folks, even though you don't know all the answers. You can mention to them that you're new, but who you work with are very, very experienced. So getting into trouble, and that's on your form here, getting in trouble, that's your job. Okay? Don't be afraid to say that you don't know the answer. We are your lifeline. Okay, cash flow. Let's talk about cash flow. And this is where I'm going to need to do a little bit of graphics, I think. Where are you? Let me hand this out to you. Now, I've heard different things from different sales gurus. And this is not a science, because, as I mentioned earlier, you know, if you do 3 closings and at 30%, and then after that you're promoted to 50% and a full-time status, and you know, you obviously got your first few transactions at 30% of the first 3, and then you go 50. So this doesn't figure that algorithm in there. Why? Because I'm not that smart. But I think the idea is to let you know that it doesn't take a lot of money to make a lot of transactions to make a lot of money in reverse mortgages. Okay. So if you take a look at this form, everybody got it? Income goals. Let's say that on the first top annual income level, let's say you had in your mind, because you want to have time for the grandkids, you want to have time for traveling, whatever your scenario might be, you want to make $40,000 annual. That's good enough for you. That's your decision, and that's where you want to focus. If you at 30%, and I have a scenario we're going to go over later. It's based on that scenario. You have a consultant gross of $10,894.19. That would be your gross earnings off the scenario we'll go over later. It's worth so many dollars, loan size is so much, but that would be the gross income you receive. The gross income for someone on a 50% level is $18,156. So the annual units need to be done for someone at 30% is 3.67. So round it up to 4. You need to do 1 loan a quarter, not 20 a month. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't take that much. If you were at 50%, it's 2.2. So you need to do 3. You need to do 1 every 4 months. So moving up, I'm not going to belabor this too much, but moving to $100,000, and obviously if you're $100,000, you won't be at 30%, so let's just move that up. You need to do 5.51 transactions for the year. So 1 every other month. 6, right? So the point that needs to be made is that you need to look at the business as a cash flow formula. And let's just write it up here real quick. It's not too touchy-feely, I promise. It's pretty simple. Are we getting this board in, bud? Hey, Paul, are we getting this board in the shot?
We sure are.
Good. All right. So I made a little graphic because this is it. Here's the formula. Income, goal. Right? Now, again, let's say it's 40,000. You customize this however you want. And then divided by, this would be your average earning. Right? So using the 50%, the average in this case would be $18,156. And then that tells you the number of units of business you need to do to accomplish that. Now the importance behind this, and this is really simplistic, but it becomes more complex when you deal with life and relationships. Meaning, you know, you're not just a reverse mortgage consultant. You're a grandma, you're a grandpa, you're a husband or a wife. You're part of a church. You're part of a group. You have friendships. You have life. And those are vital. All those things are vital. And you've got to try to squeeze in your business in between all that. We're going to talk about that in a little while. So the importance of is coming up with a goal so that you can fit your lifestyle to your income goal. Does that make sense? If you want to work all the time, say, oh, God, I'm going to make $300,000 a year. Can you? Yes. Do I know people that do with reverse mortgages? Yes. But they do it all day long. That's all they do. If that's what you want to do, we're going to support you. But if you want more of a balance, we'll support you in that too. So number 1, you got to come up with a goal, how much you want to make. Okay? I'm not going to go around the room and ask you. I know what Steve wants. He wants $500,000, and we talked with him. But that's important. Does that make sense? All right. Okay, so once you come up with this unit of business, depending upon your income goal, you're going to be doing activities, sales activities, marketing activities that are going to help you to reach this unit objective for your income goal. And what happens is it is a numbers game. It's not like at a call center, we don't do this. I never have. I never liked that. Where you're on a call center just making calls, and you know every 10th call is a ring, and you know so 10% of the time you get a transaction. That's not it. But it is true. There's a law in sales that there is a percentage, and the better you are at becoming a good salesperson or presenter or consultant, the higher your ratio on people agreeing to take what you're selling. Okay, they're going to agree to sign up with you. So what I'm going to throw your direction today is all the stuff you can do. You don't need to do it all, but you need to do something. And so some folks might say, I want to do at least these 2 things, or I want to do all 5, or whatever it is. So we're going to discuss a little bit about that. But you're going to find that certain things work better for your personality and people you know, and that's what you're going to go with. You're going to find a niche. But it's important to have at least 2 pillars of your business. You might have like 6 different things you can be doing, but you don't want to just do one. Because just as soon as that is just perfect, that one pillar, the roof, if it gets hit with a crash or a shake or a storm, it starts wavering. So you need at least 2 pillars so that you can keep, your household in good order. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Having said that we have different relationships besides just business, I just want, some of you probably know this, and some of you are probably better time managers than me, but I'm going to give you an example of something I do. I even schedule on my old man naps. I have an appointment with myself to have a nap for an hour, and it never wavers. So I just wanted to share with you, if you were to take a work week or a calendar week, what you'll want to consider doing is making schedules not only for business, but I would take my schedule for my life first. For me, nap is real important. So you want to focus how much activity you're going to use for church, for your significant other to spend time to foster that relationship. Workout time, just flex time, just to hang out with the grandkids, whatever that is, you'll want to go ahead and schedule.
This isn't true. I got you napping at 9 in the morning.
Well, it was a flex nap. So fill out life first, then work on business. That's my advice. Fill out your life first, and don't just leave 1 hour for business. It just won't work. But do that, and then that way you come up with it. Hey, I have 36 hours a week to work on my business. Hey, I have 20 hours a week to work on my business. And with that knowledge, I can help you craft what activity based on your lifestyle would probably give you the biggest bang for your buck of your time you have available for business. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, some folks don't look at it that way. They say, I'm just going to work, and whatever time I got left, I'm just going to do that. No. And Paul, I'm going to pick on you for a moment. You're a musician. If you don't schedule time for your passion, whatever it, whether it's God, music, whatever that is, you're not going to be a whole human being. You got to write it in of what happened. Okay? And that doesn't mean tennis. If someone loves tennis, you got to do that. Okay? So common sense, but you got to get in the habit of making an appointment with yourself and with your family and with your passions and your business. Right? Okay, we're going to take a little 5-minute break. Really 5 minutes. If you need to go ahead and use the facilities, we know where those are, and we'll get back together in just a moment.